Hello, grade threes. Welcome to our last division lesson in our virtual math classroom. It's Miss Crystal here, and I'm super excited for this lesson today because it kind of ties everything that we've been learning all together and just kind of finishes it up. So I'm excited. Today we are relating multiplication and division together and seeing how they work together as a fact family. Now, if you remember when we were doing addition, a fact family and subtraction, a fact family looked like this. You remember that? I hope so. I really hope so because you guys all got it when we did it. I remember that distinctly. Everybody understood it. We have 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 take away 3 is 5. 8 take away 5 is 3. Did we ever change any of the numbers? No, we always use those 3 numbers all the time. And that is exactly what we're going to do for multiplication and division together today. You probably noticed that the side and the board look really boring right now. It's because I'm moving my classroom. So everything in here looks boring. I can't wait to decorate the new one. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracted easily. Let's try a fact family for 5 times 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. So if we have that as our first fact in our fact family, can we make another multiplication sentence with those 3 numbers? Yes. We're never going to put our big altogether number at the start because we do that in division. We're not going to do that in multiplication because 15 times 3 is 45, not 5. So make sure you keep your small numbers at the front. So here we have 3 times 5 is 15, 5 times 3 is 15, and 3 times 5 is 15. All we did is switch these 2 numbers. We still got the same answer. Now we have to bring in division. So remember, with division, we're taking our big altogether number, we're moving it up to the front, and then we have to divide. Does it matter which one we divide by first? No. But we know now that if we're using these same 3 numbers, 15 divided by 5, we've used 15, we've used 5, left over is 3. Now we have to show the same. 15 divided by 3, we've used 15, we've used 3, we need 5. And this is a fact family for multiplication and division. They all work together. The 3 numbers, they never change. The same with addition and subtraction. Let's try one more just to kind of drill that into your head. As usual, if it's already drilled into your head, skip. See you later. I made that really big, but that's okay. We can do that really fast. 4 times 2 is 8. Good job. 8. That means 2 times 4 must be 8. Good. Now we're going to take our big altogether number. We're going to put it at the front. And we're going to divide it by, does it matter? No. We're going to start with 2. That means we've used our 8. We've used our 2. Must equal 4. And then 8 divided by 4 we know has to equal 2. So this is a good way to start to memorize your facts because if you can remember 2 times 4, then you're going to know 4 times 2. And if you know 8 divided by 2, you're going to know 8 divided by 4. They all interact with each other, and that's why Mrs. Dennis and I are having these in-depth lessons, and then after we're having you do your mad minutes, because if you understand what the numbers are doing, it will be easier to remember. So yeah, that's it. That's a fact family. Next, we're going to take a look at how arrays, if you remember arrays from before, we're going to see how arrays work with division as well as multiplication. So I'm going to use my dots to make an array. And then I want you to tell me what the multiplication sentence is. And by tell me, I mean tell your computer. That's all we have. Okay, so just to review, what is an array? It is a group of rectangles that have equal rows and columns to represent a multiplication sentence. And in this case, it's also going to represent a division sentence. So, which multiplication sentence does this array show? Remember, you're looking at your columns and your rows. So I'm going to go columns times rows. So I have how many columns? 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 groups, 1 group, 2 group, 3 group. I have 3 groups. And how many are in my groups? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Times 2. How many circles do I have altogether? My big altogether number is 6. Good. Another way you could have written that is 2 times 3. The same answer, it will be 6. Now I need to look at division. If I'm going to see an array and write a division sentence, I'm going to first look at my big altogether number. I'm going to count all the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 dots. Now I'm dividing them into, let's say I'm dividing my dots into rows. How many rows do I have? 1, 2. 6 divided by 2 rows means how many in the rows? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The other way I could have looked at this is I have 6 as my big altogether number. And now we're going to divide it into columns. How many columns are in this array? 1, 2, 3. So 6 divided into 3 columns means that there are how many in a column? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 in a column. So this would be my fact family for this array. Okay. This time, I'm going to write a division sentence, and we're going to make the array for that. So, I have 10 divided by 5. So my first step, make sure I have 10 counters. Is this an array? No, that's a mess. We need to make it a nice array. So I'm going to go 10, and I'm going to decide to divide my 10 counters into 5 columns. I could have chosen rows. I didn't. I chose columns. So now I have 5 columns, and now I'm just going to divide the rest into these columns equally. 5, 10 divided into 5 columns equals how many in the columns? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Good. So I hope that that makes sense. I'm going to do a couple on the sheet just to kind of warm you up and to further explain. So please take out page 84 and we will work on that. Okay. Glad you didn't watch that because it took forever. Whew. So we are on page 84. Our goal is to use arrays to relate division to multiplication, and you guys are going to do an awesome job at that. So let's say Stephen has 15 batteries for his remote controlled cars. Each car uses 3 batteries. This says you will need counters. If you want to use counters to do this first, that's fine, but make sure you're drawing a picture of your array as well. So what's the important information? I know that I have 15 batteries total. That's my big altogether number. And I know I'm dividing these batteries into three in a group because each car needs 3 batteries. The question's asking us, how many cars are they going to need? Well, that's coming down there. But anyway, first we're going to figure out the array. So just like I did on the board, we're going to remember that an array has to be in a nice rectangle. So you know what, to begin, I'm just going to draw my 15 batteries over here. 13, 14, 15, just to make that even. So now I'm going to decide, do I want to put my 15 into 3 rows or 3 columns? Remember, rows are like this, columns are like this. I'm going to choose 3 rows. So I'm going to do 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and I know I'm using 3 of my batteries. So that technically is 1 car. So because I'm making rows, I'm going to take another 3 and put them in the same rows, 1, 2, 3 crossed off. Then I'm going to use another 3 batteries to continue on the row. And then I'm going to use another 3 and another 3, the last 3. There. So now I have turned my 15 batteries into a nice array, 3 rows. And that's it. That's all it asks. So this array is going to show multiplication sentences and division sentences the same way we did on the board. So B asks us to write a division sentence and a multiplication sentence for this problem. Now, if you want to write your multiplication sentence first because you remember that the best, that's totally fine. But let's try writing our division sentence first. So we know that our big altogether number was 15. And what are we dividing it by? 3, you're right. And we know that because we did 3 groups, 3 rows, 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows. We divided 15 into 3 rows, and it asks us how many in a row. That's our last number we're trying to find. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 in a row. Now, remember when we did arrays, we counted how many rows? 1, 2, 3. We times it by how many was in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To find our big altogether number as 15. The question now asks, how many remote controlled cars does Steve have? So we know that there were 15 batteries. 3 batteries went into each car, and the 15 batteries then were able to be put into 5 cars. Imagine this is a car, this is a car, this is a car, this is a car, and this is a car, and those are the 3 batteries in them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Awesome. The next part says sketch an array to figure out each quotient. Now I have 4 divided by 4. Remember, quotient is the answer. We're trying to find the answer. So I have 4 of something, and I'm dividing them into, I can either choose 4 rows or 4 columns. Rows and columns. That's hard to see. Either way, rows, columns. So I'm going to choose columns this time, and I have 4 of something, and I'm going to choose columns this time. I have 4 of something, and I'm going to put them into columns. 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. I have 4 stars, putting them into 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many rows did I make? 1 row. 1 lonely row. Do you see how I got that? It's your number, your altogether number. See that? Yeah. Altogether number divided by rows equals how many columns? Jeez, Louise, I can't spell. Or you can switch these two. Altogether divided by the number of columns equals how many rows. So let's try that. Let's go down to here, 10. 10 is our big altogether number. Now I can put it into 5 rows or 5 columns, but I'm going to choose rows this time. So I have 10 of something, then I'm divided into 5 columns. Well, let's start off by making my 5 rows. 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5 row. So how many hearts have I used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I've used 5 hearts and I only have 10 hearts, how many more can I use? 5. You're right, because my altogether number has to be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 10 hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. divide it into 5 rows. 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, 5 row, equals how many in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or 2, sorry, or 2 columns. I don't know what I was, oh, I don't know how long you were going for, but I hope it wasn't long. Sorry, I have 10 hearts divided into 5 rows equals how many columns? 1 column, 2 columns, or 2 in a row. You can count it like that too. Okay, my next one, I have 8 as my big altogether number. I'm going to do it the way I did it over here in case this is the way that worked for you. So I have 8 circles all together. It's my altogether number. I need to divide them by 4. I'm going to make 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've used 4. And now I have to put the rest into these columns so they look nice and neat. Okay, how many rows was I able to make? 1, 2. That's my answer. Or I could look at how many in each column. The answer either way is going to be 2. And last but not least, we have 6 divided by 3. I'm going to do triangles this time. So I have 6 altogether divided into, let's do 3 columns. Let's do 3 rows this time. So 1, 2, 3 rows. I've used 3 of my 6. I have 6 triangles. I've used 3. Now I have to put the last 3. So I have 6 triangles put into 3 rows. How many columns did that make? 1, 2. There we go. So that's how we figure out how to make an array. So now you're going to, oh, the camera's a little slower. I'm sorry about that. Okay, my friends, I am so sorry, but I could not get the iPad to connect to the computer to use as a document camera. So you are just going to have to listen and follow along while I go through pages 183 and 184. I know it's not ideal, so if you do need help with these sheets, please talk to your teacher. So you should be on this page with a little dream catcher on the side, 183, and we're just going to go through it together. So it says, way too close. It says, our goal is still to use arrays to relate division to multiplication, same thing. You can use counters if that works for you. Remember, counters could be Legos, it could be Cheerios, they could be beads, I don't know, anything. So number 1 says, Raven has 25 feathers to make dream catchers. She needs 5 feathers for each dream catcher. So she's making these guys. It says make an array using counters to show the problem, but it also wants you to sketch the array. So please make sure that you're drawing your picture when it asks. Same thing as before, if you need to draw out your 25 feathers on the side and then cross them off as you make your array, that's totally fine. Remember, an array has to have equal columns and equal rows. It can have a really random stray one out of nowhere. And then it asks you to write a division sentence and a multiplication sentence for the problem. And then how many dream catchers can Raven make? This is very similar to this question about the, what were they? Batteries for the cars. Pretty much exactly the same question. Then down here, it's the same thing we just went through. Sketch an array to figure out each quotient. So you're gonna draw, remember this, the big altogether number is how many shapes should be in your array. You can use whatever shapes you want, I don't care. Will has been drawing beautiful pictures, and Kalia. So draw beautiful, neat pictures of whatever shape you want. Try not to make them too elaborate. It's going to take you forever. Unless you want to take forever, then you do you, my friends. Whatever works for you. Then on the back it says, Tim has 15 fruit snacks and he wants to put into 5 bags. So he's got 15 fruit snacks, wants to put them into some bags. 5 bags to be exact. He created this array, so it's already done for you, to help him figure out the number of fruit snacks in each bag. And then, so he wants you to write a division sentence and a multiplication sentence to solve this problem. So he wants you to write a division sentence. Remember your big altogether number, count up how many fruit snacks total, divided by, you could divide them by your columns, your rows, you could divide them by your columns, and then the answer is the other one. And multiplication you guys can do, you know, you've done it. And then it says, what other number of bags could Tim use and have no fruit snacks left over? So it's asking you to write the other division sentence. Hopefully that helps. Number 4a says create a sharing story problem for this array. So remember, count your big altogether number. That's going to go in at the start. Then you can choose to count your rows or count your columns to use as the number. So remember, a sharing problem, so it can be just like Tim's, it can be like Raven from the other page, or it could be like Stephen and his car batteries. So all three of those are great examples that you can use to write your own story problem. Remember, we're not writing an addition or a subtraction or a multiplication sentence anymore. You have a total number, you want to put them into groups. So we're talking about sharing for this array. And then a grouping story problem, you know what? Do either one. If you don't do both, pick one of those. This is why you got to watch the video, because it tells you the inside scoop. Then number 2 says, write 2 multiplication sentences and 2 division sentences for this array of pylons. Yes, that is an array. They're all in a nice, neat line. You guys, the hint for that one is we did fact families at the very start of this video, so just use that. That'll help you figure out how to make your fact families for the pylons. Other than that, I hope that made sense to you guys. If it didn't, please email Mrs. Dennis or I whenever you want, and we will be there to help you. Please don't be afraid to Zoom us. Some of you guys are afraid to Zoom us. We're still here. We're still the same people. We still miss you. So don't be afraid to Zoom us. I will talk to you guys soon. I'm very excited for our lessons next week. Yeah, have a good day.